My beloved child, there is a quiet moment approaching that many people would overlook without even realizing its meaning, but you were guided here because your heart was ready to notice it. Listen carefully, not because something dramatic is about to happen, but because something deeply meaningful has already begun moving toward you. Somewhere beyond what your eyes can currently see, a conversation has been growing in silence. Words have been chosen, erased, rewritten in the heart, and held back until the right moment could finally arrive. The person you love has been carrying something beautiful inside them, and every passing day has made it harder for them to keep it hidden. They have imagined this conversation more than once, wondering how your face might change when you hear what they have longed to tell you. Don't skip. Because every next sentence brings you closer to understanding why this moment feels different from all the others. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes becomes unexpectedly quiet just before something encouraging appears? It is almost as though ordinary moments begin making room for extraordinary ones. That quiet is not emptiness. It is preparation. And perhaps that explains why your spirit has felt unusually attentive lately, as though it keeps looking toward a doorway that has not opened yet but somehow already feels familiar. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and it is not simply about another person. It is also about what this moment is awakening inside you. The one who cares about you has not been searching for perfect words, they have been searching for the right time. There is a difference. Perfect words fade quickly, but sincere words remain in the heart for years. They want this conversation to leave you feeling lighter than before, stronger than before, and quietly hopeful about everything still ahead. Perhaps you have sensed little reminders lately, a memory arriving without warning, a smile appearing for no obvious reason, or an unexpected feeling that someone has been thinking about you. Those moments are easy to dismiss, yet sometimes they become gentle invitations to pay closer attention to what life is preparing. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be rushed. Some of the most meaningful conversations arrive naturally, almost unexpectedly, after patience has quietly done its work. And still, there is one detail you have not discovered yet. The wonderful news they wish to share is not only about what has changed in their world. It is connected to something much closer to your own journey than you realize. That connection has been quietly growing while you were focused on living each ordinary day, and when you finally recognize it, several moments from your recent past may suddenly make far more sense than they do today. For now, simply hold on to this thought. Sometimes the greatest surprise is not that someone wants to speak with you, it is discovering why they waited until this exact season to do it. The answer is closer than you think, but its deepest meaning has not been revealed, not yet. A gentle shift is already taking place, even if it has happened so quietly that only your heart could recognize it. There is a reason this message continues to unfold one step at a time. If everything were revealed at once, you might miss the beauty hidden inside the journey itself. So remain here a little longer, because every passing moment is bringing another piece into place. The person you love has carried this news through moments of hesitation, not because they doubted its value, but because they wanted it to reach you when your spirit was ready to receive it with peace instead of uncertainty. Think about the conversations that almost happened, the unexpected pauses, the words that remained unspoken. None of them were meaningless. They became silent chapters leading toward a meeting that now feels closer than ever. Sometimes the heart prepares for an important conversation long before the voice is ready to speak it aloud. That is why certain memories have been returning to you without invitation. They are not pulling you backward. They are quietly helping you recognize what has been growing all along. Don't skip, because the next realization may explain something you have wondered about for much longer than you realize. Imagine someone smiling while holding a secret they can hardly wait to share. Every ordinary moment becomes filled with quiet anticipation. They replay your reaction in their mind. They wonder if you will laugh, become emotional, or simply fall silent as the meaning settles into your heart. That is where this story is beginning to arrive now, not in dramatic noise, but in genuine expectation. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that another heart has been carefully protecting joyful words until the right moment appears. Perhaps that is why life has felt as though it has been gently slowing you down. Not to delay your path, but to help you notice what rushed moments would have hidden from you. Sometimes the greatest gifts arrive wrapped in ordinary days, waiting for one simple conversation to uncover everything they have quietly carried. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and its meaning reaches beyond a single sentence. The wonderful news they are holding is not only meant to make you smile for a moment. It has the potential to remind you that genuine connection is often built through patience, kindness, and timing rather than perfect circumstances. And there is still one small piece they have not spoken aloud. It is the reason this conversation could not happen yesterday, and it is also the reason today feels remarkably different. As that final piece begins to move into place, you may discover that what seemed like ordinary waiting was actually preparing both hearts for a moment neither of you will easily forget. Yet the most meaningful words have still not been spoken, and they are closer now than ever before. There are moments in life when everything appears unchanged on the outside, yet beneath the surface an entirely new chapter is quietly taking shape. This is one of those moments. You may not hear the conversation yet, but its presence is already drawing closer with every passing heartbeat. The person you love has reached a place where keeping these feelings unspoken no longer feels possible. What began as a quiet thought has become a sincere desire to let you know what has been resting in their heart for far too long. Stay till the end. Because something important is waiting for you, and each passing sentence brings another layer into focus without taking away the beauty of the mystery. They have imagined how this moment could unfold countless times. Sometimes they pictured you smiling before they even finished speaking. Other times they wondered if you would simply become still, allowing every word to settle gently into your heart. It was never about finding dramatic language. It was about finding words honest enough to carry what they truly wanted you to understand. That is why this message has taken its time. Meaningful things are rarely rushed. They grow quietly until they become impossible to hide. Have you noticed how certain people cross your mind for no obvious reason? Not because you were searching for them, but because a single memory suddenly appeared, bringing with it a warmth you could not explain. Those moments often remind us that genuine connections leave gentle echoes long after the moment itself has passed. Perhaps those quiet echoes have been guiding your attention without you realizing it. Don't skip, because the next realization may connect pieces that once seemed completely unrelated. The wonderful news they wish to share is beginning to reveal itself, not through grand announcements, but through small signs of sincerity. They want you to know that something has changed within them. They have gained a new clarity, a deeper appreciation, and a stronger understanding of what truly matters. That realization has brought them to this point, a place where silence no longer feels right because gratitude has become stronger than hesitation. There is something beautiful about a heart that finally decides to speak after spending so much time listening. And perhaps that is why this moment feels different from every other one that came before it. It is not simply another conversation waiting to happen. It is the beginning of a new understanding, one built on honesty, patience, and hope. Yet there remains one final piece they continue to hold close, not because they wish to keep it from you, but because its meaning deserves its own moment. When those words are finally spoken, you may realize that this was never only about the wonderful news itself. It was also about the quiet journey that prepared both of you to receive it. And that final truth is now closer than ever, waiting just beyond the next unfolding moment. Not every answer arrives with noise. Some arrive so gently that you only recognize their importance after they have already begun changing the way you see everything around you. This is one of those rare moments. The person you love has been standing at the edge of a decision that has grown clearer with each passing day. What once felt uncertain has slowly transformed into quiet confidence, and that confidence has given them the courage to prepare the words they have wanted you to hear for so long. Don't skip, because what comes next is not a sudden revelation, but the unfolding of something that has been patiently growing beneath the surface all this time. Imagine them pausing before speaking, taking a deep breath, not out of fear, but because they understand that some conversations deserve to be handled with care. They know that a single sincere sentence can remain in someone's heart for years. That is why they refuse to rush this moment. They wanted every word to carry warmth, every pause to hold meaning, and every glance to express what language alone sometimes cannot. While you have been moving through ordinary days, they have quietly been collecting little reasons to smile whenever your name comes to mind. They have noticed details they once overlooked. They have remembered moments that seemed small at the time but now shine with unexpected significance. It is remarkable how the heart can revisit ordinary memories and suddenly discover extraordinary meaning hidden inside them. Stay till the end. Because something important is waiting for you, and the next piece may explain why this message feels so personal. The wonderful news they have been carrying is not built upon chance. It is built upon realization. They have come to appreciate how much your presence has influenced their journey, bringing encouragement in ways you may never have fully recognized. That realization has become impossible for them to ignore. It has quietly reshaped their perspective, and now they hope to share that change with you in a way that feels genuine and unforgettable. There is another detail they have not yet revealed. Before they tell you the news itself, they want you to understand why it matters so deeply. Without that understanding, the words would sound pleasant, but they would never reveal the full beauty behind them. Sometimes the meaning behind good news is even more powerful than the news itself. That is why this story continues one gentle step at a time. The closer you come to the truth, the more every earlier moment begins fitting together like pieces of a picture that was always waiting to be completed. And just when it seems the silence can hold no more, the final reason for their waiting begins to rise into view, carrying with it a message that neither heart will soon forget. Just when it seems every piece has almost found its place, another quiet truth begins to reveal itself. It is not louder than the ones before it, yet somehow it carries even greater meaning. The person you love has discovered that some of life's happiest moments are not the ones that arrive unexpectedly, they are the ones that have been patiently growing while no one was looking. That is why this conversation has taken so much time to reach you. It was never delayed without purpose. It was simply waiting for the moment when both hearts could truly understand its value. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and the next few moments may help you see this story in an entirely new light. They have replayed this meeting in their thoughts again and again. Not because they feared what you might say, but because they hoped your first reaction would reflect the same warmth they have been carrying within themselves. They imagined the quiet smile that appears before words are spoken. They imagined the silence that comes when joy is too meaningful to interrupt. And somehow, every time they pictured that moment, one feeling remained stronger than all the others: gratitude. Gratitude that your paths crossed. Gratitude that certain ordinary days became unforgettable simply because you were part of them. Gratitude that the story did not end where either of you once believed it might. Don't skip, because the heart of this message is beginning to draw closer than ever before. There is a beautiful difference between hearing good news and understanding why it matters. The person you love does not simply want to tell you that something wonderful has happened. They want you to know that, through everything they experienced, one realization became impossible to ignore: some people quietly become part of your future long before you realize how deeply they have shaped your present. That realization changed the way they looked at everything. It brought clarity where there had once been questions. It brought peace where there had once been hesitation. And now they no longer wish to keep that transformation hidden from you. Perhaps this is why your own heart has felt unusually calm at unexpected moments, as though it has been sensing a gentle change without fully understanding where it was coming from. Sometimes we recognize hope before we recognize its source. Sometimes the heart notices what the mind has not yet discovered. And perhaps that is exactly what has been happening here. Yet even now, they continue holding back one final sentence. Not because it is difficult to say, but because it deserves a moment of its own. It is the sentence that explains why they could no longer remain silent, why this conversation had to happen, and why the wonderful news they have been carrying feels so deeply connected to you. That single sentence is closer than ever now, and once it is spoken, everything that came before it will suddenly make perfect sense. Sometimes the most unforgettable moments begin so quietly that they almost pass unnoticed, until one simple sentence changes the meaning of everything that came before it. That moment is drawing nearer now. The person you love has reached a place where keeping this joy to themselves no longer feels possible. Every day they waited, their desire to share it only became stronger, because some happiness feels incomplete until it is placed into the hands of someone who truly matters. Don't skip. Because what is unfolding now is the reason this journey has moved so gently from the very beginning. They have come to understand something that many people spend years trying to learn. Real connection is not measured by how often two people speak, but by how deeply they remain present in one another's hearts, even during the quiet seasons. Through every ordinary day, every unexpected pause, and every moment that seemed to pass without significance, one truth continued growing inside them. You were never as distant from their thoughts as you may have imagined. In the smallest moments, your memory found its way back to them. A familiar place. A favorite song. A passing smile from a stranger. Little reminders appeared without invitation, and each one gently whispered the same message: there was still something beautiful left to say. Stay till the end. Because something important is waiting for you, and the next part of this story carries the warmth they have been protecting for so long. They are no longer wondering whether they should speak. They are only thinking about how to begin. Not with grand promises. Not with dramatic words. Simply with honesty. They want you to know that the wonderful news they carry is brighter because you are part of it. They cannot imagine sharing it without first letting you understand how much your presence has meant throughout this journey. That is why every earlier piece of this message has been leading here, not to surprise you for a moment, but to prepare your heart to receive something sincere. And perhaps this is the quiet lesson hidden beneath everything you have heard so far: the greatest moments are often built long before they are seen. They grow through patience, through kindness, through hope that refuses to disappear even when no one else can see it. What is coming next is not simply an announcement. It is the beginning of a conversation that has been waiting for exactly the right time to unfold. There is still one final layer they have yet to reveal, the part that explains why this wonderful news could only be shared now, and why the first words they choose may become the ones you remember for years to come. As that final moment approaches, the silence itself begins to feel full of meaning, because the very first sentence they have been longing to say is finally ready to be spoken. The silence has changed. It no longer feels like waiting. It feels like the gentle breath that comes just before two hearts finally understand what they have been moving toward all along. There is a quiet confidence surrounding this moment now, the kind that cannot be created overnight. It grows only through time, sincerity, and the courage to let hope become stronger than hesitation. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and the meaning behind it is even more beautiful than you might expect. The person you love has realized that happiness becomes more complete when it is shared with someone who truly understands its value. That realization has remained with them through every sunrise, every ordinary afternoon, and every peaceful evening. It has become impossible to ignore. They no longer wish to wonder what might happen if they speak. Instead, they are looking forward to the moment when they finally can. They have imagined seeing your expression as each word settles into your heart, not because they expect perfection, but because they believe honesty creates moments that are remembered long after the conversation ends. Perhaps you have noticed that your own heart has become a little more patient recently. Moments that once felt confusing now seem calmer. Questions that once demanded immediate answers no longer carry the same weight. Sometimes this quiet change happens because life is gently preparing us to receive something we could not fully appreciate before. Growth often happens so naturally that we recognize it only when we look back. And maybe that is exactly what has been happening to both of you. Don't skip, because another piece is about to fall into place. The wonderful news they have been holding is connected to a decision that filled them with genuine peace. It is not excitement that fades after a single day. It is the kind of joy that continues growing because it is rooted in gratitude. They want you to know that when they thought about sharing this moment, your name was never an afterthought. You were one of the very first people who came to mind. That alone tells a story words can barely capture. There is something remarkable about being remembered at the very moment someone experiences hope. It means your presence has quietly become part of their happiest thoughts. Even if you never noticed it before, your kindness, your patience, and the way you have simply been yourself have left a lasting impression that time has only strengthened. Yet one gentle mystery still remains. They have not told you what happened just before they decided they could wait no longer. It was a small, unexpected moment, easy for anyone else to overlook, but for them it changed everything. It became the final confirmation they needed, the quiet reminder that some conversations should never be postponed when they come from a sincere heart. That unexpected moment is where this story is about to lead next, and once you discover what it was, you may understand why they are so eager to finally share the wonderful news they have been carrying all this time. A single ordinary moment can quietly become the turning point of an entire story, and that is exactly what happened. There was no grand announcement, no extraordinary scene, no dramatic interruption. It happened in the stillness, where honest thoughts often become impossible to ignore. The person you love paused for just a moment, looked back on everything that had brought them here, and smiled, not because every question had been answered, but because one truth had finally become undeniable. They could no longer imagine keeping this wonderful news from you. Don't skip, because something important is waiting for you, and every word from this point carries the warmth they have been longing to share. As they reflected on the journey, they realized that some of the happiest moments in life are not measured by achievements or milestones. They are measured by the people we immediately want to tell. Out of everyone they could have thought of, your place in their heart remained steady. Your name returned again and again, bringing with it a quiet sense of comfort that never faded. They understood that joy grows brighter when it is shared with someone who has unknowingly been part of the story all along. Have you ever wondered why certain people remain in your thoughts even after long stretches of ordinary life? Not because anyone reminded you of them, but because your heart quietly remembered what your mind had become too busy to notice. Those gentle reminders are often invitations to appreciate connections that have continued growing beneath the surface. Perhaps that is why this message has found you today. Not by accident, but by timing that now feels beautifully complete. Stay till the end, because the next realization may be the one that stays with you long after these words are gone. The wonderful news they are carrying is not simply about what has happened. It is about what they have discovered along the way. They discovered that gratitude changes the way we see people. They discovered that patience often protects the most meaningful conversations. Most importantly, they discovered that some hearts become home without ever asking for recognition. That discovery gave them a new kind of courage. No longer the courage to hide their feelings, but the courage to speak them with sincerity. They began imagining the first few words they would say when the moment finally arrived. They wanted those words to make you feel appreciated, understood, and quietly reminded that your presence has mattered more than you may have ever realized. And yet, there is one final door that has not been opened. Behind it is the very sentence they have repeated silently more times than they can count. It is simple. It is genuine. It carries the wonderful news you have been moving towards since this journey began. But before those words are spoken, there is one last truth they hope you will understand. They do not want this conversation to be remembered because it surprised you. They want it to be remembered because, deep inside, it felt as though your heart had been waiting for it all along. And as that final sentence rises closer than ever, the silence is no longer empty. It is filled with quiet anticipation. Because the words they have been longing to say are finally ready to leave their heart and reach yours.